Hi everyone, this is William from the Headphone Experience, and I'm here tonight with something a little bit different. This isn't a review. The title of this video is Tinnitus and the Audiophile, and the reason I'm doing this is I occasionally suffer from tinnitus, and from reading posts and listening to comments and things from people in my headphone group, I've realized that this is a pretty common problem and a lot of people have it, and it definitely can cause problems if you're trying to either listen to mid-fi or high-end audio gear. It can definitely interfere with your ability to listen and enjoy the music, and especially if you're a reviewer trying to review high-end equipment and trying to hear tiny, subtle little differences between, one headphone amp or another, or one DAC or another. It can definitely be a problem. And fortunately, it's not a constant problem for me, but I do have occasional problems with tinnitus, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit tonight and explain, first of all, what it is and the problems it causes, and then go into a little bit about what I have found that can make it worse, first of all, and things you can do to help and make it better, and ways to work around it if you are into mid-fi or high-end audio gear and really enjoy listening to your music. Sometimes you just have to kind of work around the tinnitus, and because it can definitely cause some problems. So anyway, first of all, I wanted to explain what tinnitus is, if most of you probably know, but anyway, the definition of tinnitus is a condition with a constant ringing sound in the ear, absent of any external source. And apparently this affects about 10 to 20% of adults, and it is more common in older people. And I'm getting up there. I'm 57 years old, and it's given me a little bit of problem over the years, but it has become a little more often, and I have to be careful lately to not do anything to aggravate it. Anyway, the title of this video is Tinnitus and the Audiophile, so I also wanted to give you the definition of an audiophile. An audiophile is a person who is enthusiastic about high-fidelity sound reproduction. Okay, so to take it a little further, what is the definition of high fidelity? And high fidelity is the reproduction of sound that is very faithful to its original. So if a person is trying to reproduce sound in a way that is faithful to its original, then you have certain requirements. First of all, you want it to be low in distortion. You want your equipment and your music to cover the entire frequency range that can be heard by the human ear, which in a imperfect situation, that would be 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, but very few people over 30 years old can hear anywhere near 20,000 hertz. I'm sure my hearing is probably limited at about 15,000 hertz, and that's probably the case with most people my age. Also, to reproduce a sound that sounds real, you've got issues like soundstage, you've got issues like imaging, and dynamics are important to make something sound authentic and real. And one of the most important things to really dive deep into your music and really enjoy it, I found that a lack of background noise is very important. You want to eliminate any kind of distortion, any hiss, anything that isn't in the recording. I mean, if it's in the recording, there's not much you can do about that, and all recordings do have a certain level of background noise. But usually that background noise is, quite a bit lower than the level of the music, and it's pretty easy to ignore. And usually the only time you're going to hear it is during a very quiet passage or during the break between songs, like, on a CD or album. But so the problem with tinnitus is it's a sound, a ringing in your ear that just never goes away. Or, it might go away at times. You might not be bothered at all with it one day, or the next day it might be bad. And, I'll tell you the truth, the times that it's bad for me, I can't do any critical listening. I can't do reviewing of equipment, and there has been some times lately that that's been the case. I'll go back to, I think it was February, and I had an issue for a couple weeks where I really had problems, and I know what set it off. Okay, I heat my house with wood, and I usually need to clean my chimney a couple times each winter. Well, it was, I think, about mid-January, and my chimney was due to be cleaned, but we had a bunch of snow and ice, and then several weeks of real cold weather, and the roof of my house was too icy and too slick to get up there and safely clean my chimney. So my chimney went probably 3-4 weeks overdue without being cleaned. And what happened is the soot and stuff in the chimney gradually built up to where the chimney was probably like 50% restricted. Well, it was still working. I was still getting heat out of my furnace, which is in my basement. But the problem was that every time I opened the door to put wood in it, a big puff of smoke would come out because it didn't have enough updraft, and it would tend to set off my smoke detector. Well, I've got, I think, 12 smoke detectors in my house that are all hardwired together, so one goes off, they all go off. And to me, that's the worst possible sound. The sound of a smoke detector going off will every time set off my ear ringing. And fortunately, it's only my left ear. But sometimes it'll go away after a few hours. Sometimes it can last for days. Well, anyway, one time I set the alarm off. And the trick is, all 12 alarms are going off, but you got to find the one that was activated, and that's the only one you can shut it off with. Well, what happened is a big puff of smoke came out, and I thought I knew which alarm had been set off, and I was trying to turn it off, and it didn't shut off. I went to a second alarm, hit that button, didn't shut it off. Ended up being the third alarm. So by the time I got this thing off, I had like 5 minutes of 12 smoke detectors beeping, and I think my ear rang for like 2 weeks. I couldn't get rid of it, and this was back in probably February, and to be honest, I just had to take a break from reviewing. I couldn't even just sit down and listen for pleasure because the ringing was so bad that I couldn't enjoy the music. And what I found out, when you do have ringing in your ear, usually you would think you could turn the music up loud enough to drown it out and get rid of it, but for some reason the ringing in your ear tends to increase as you increase the level of your music. So you can't drown it out. The louder you turn the music, the louder the ringing gets. And at times it was as loud, almost as loud as the music, even as loud as the voices. And I just couldn't enjoy the music. So anyway, so I've looked over the last few months for anything I can find to help to make this happen less often, or if it does happen, to quickly reduce it or get it to go away completely. And the number one cause, obviously, is loud noises. So the main thing I do to try to avoid tinnitus is, you probably, if you've been watching my videos, you know that I make a living with a small lawn care business, and doing lawn care, I'm exposed to loud noises all day. Mowers, string trimmers, blowers, all that stuff. So the first thing I did, and I've been doing this for years now, probably 10 or 12 years, is I got the best hearing protection I could find. This is made by 3M, and these have very thick padding in them, and these are supposed to reduce the sound by 30 decibels. And I wear these all day long while I'm working. Anytime I've got a mower running, anytime I've got a blower running, anytime I've got a string trimmer running, I'm wearing these. If I'm at home, if I'm running a chainsaw, if I'm running my log splitter, if I'm running any kind of power tools, if I'm even running a shop vac or even the vacuum cleaner in the house, I'm wearing these. And that's the most important thing you can do, is just keep yourself from being exposed to loud noises. And these cutting the sound by 30 decibels, these do make a huge difference. So the first thing, if you can avoid the loud noises, you can avoid setting off the tinnitus in the first place. Some other things that I found out that can cause it is recently, last month, I was in the ER a couple times and still not sure what was wrong with me. They think it was some sort of stress-related heart problems, and the doctors put me on a couple of different meds. Well, anyway, one of them, here, I'll show you a couple of these here. And I'm not a doctor. I have no medical training. I'm not trying to give you any kind of medical advice here. I'm just pointing out that this medication, isosorbide, I believe it's pronounced, which is kind of a long-acting type of a nitro thing that lowers or relaxes your blood vessels, something like that. I don't know what it's supposed to do. Like I said, no, I'm not trying to give you any medical advice here. Anyway, but those made my ears ring 24 hours a day, and I did stop taking them, not for that reason. I stopped taking them because of a lot of bad side effects. I was feeling worse instead of better. So I didn't stop taking my medication because of the ear ringing, but my ears did clear up within a couple days of stopping those. Something I do still have to take occasionally if I have chest pains is little nitro tablets. And I've noticed that my ears ring, or my one ear rings for usually a couple hours after taking these, but it usually goes away. Not too much, usually 6-8 hours later the ringing does go away, so that's not a problem. But I've also noticed that some supplements can make my ears ring, and basically it seems to be anything that is any kind of stimulant. One would be any kind of like diet medications, like these Xenadrine weight loss pills here. And I know they have caffeine in them, and caffeine's definitely something that can trigger tinnitus. I noticed that even small amounts of caffeine for me can make my ear ring a little bit, and the more I take, the worse it gets. So anyway, I try to avoid anything like this. I do take them occasionally. Also, some testosterone boosters. Here's an example. These are, what's it called, Score XL, and I'm not sure what the ingredients are. But I noticed taking these that I can make my ears ring a little bit too. So these are just some of the things that I've noticed that can trigger the tinnitus. And something else I've noticed, and I'm not sure why, is I've got 3 Walmart stores near me. And I probably get to each of them about once a week because I'm out mowing and I stop and get things I need while I'm out. And there's 3 different ones in my area. They're the 3 different sizes. As far as I know, there's 3 different Walmarts. Well, the one in Deloge, Missouri, which happens to be one of the largest Walmarts, for some reason, every time I go in there, and I'm talking, I've observed this probably 15 to 20 times over the summer. Every time I go in that Walmart, when I leave, my ears are ringing. In fact, they're ringing before I even get out of the store, and it can sometimes take until the next morning or the next day before it stops, and I don't know what it is, and it's just, the other 2 I get a little bit, but that one store is just really bad, so I'm not sure what's going on. It doesn't seem any louder or any noisier than the other Walmarts, but I don't know, maybe they're broadcasting something over, the intercoms or something, maybe it's something to, alter my mind or brainwash me or, tell me to buy lots of stuff. I don't know what's going on, but for some reason my ears ring really bad when I leave there, and it can sometimes take an entire day to go away. So I've told you a little bit about things to avoid, but most of all, like I said, try to avoid loud noises, and if you can't avoid them, wear good hearing protection. I have found a couple things that seem to help a little bit, and none of them make it go away entirely, but it can help. It makes it happen less often and less severe. One of them would be vitamin A. Vitamin A, I'm taking 2,400 micrograms. I take this once a day, and when I'm taking these, it does seem that the ringing is less often and less severe. So that seems to help a little bit. Taking iron, and I don't take it every day. Men don't need a whole lot of iron, and so anyway, I take this maybe twice a week, and that seems to help. And something else I found to help is this. It's called NAC. And what does NAC stand for? It's N-acetylcysteine. And apparently, and I've read different things about this, that it can actually help repair damage in the ears, and it can prevent some medications from damaging your ears. So I've been taking this for a while, and it does seem to help. I did try this stuff. It's called lipoflavonoid, and it's made for ear ringing, and it's supposed to reduce the amount of ringing. And they recommend you take it for 3 months to really get the best results. I didn't do that. Not at the full dose. I've taken it occasionally. It seems to help a little bit, but I'm not really sure, and I can't really tell you if it's worth the money or not. This stuff, it's pretty expensive. I think it's about $24 a bottle. I happened to just catch a clearance of these at like $1 a bottle at Walmart on the clearance shelf, so I bought a few bottles and gave it a try, and I think it helps a little bit, but it doesn't really make a huge difference. So basically what I found out, just get yourself some really good hearing protection whenever you're around anything noisy, lawn equipment, power tools, even the vacuum cleaner, anything loud. Wear your hearing protection and protect your ears. I mean, when I was younger, I didn't think about hearing problems. At an older age, I went to concerts. I ran heavy equipment for 11 years. I did wear foam earplugs most of the time during that, but now that I know better, I should have been wearing something like this that whole time. But pretty much since I've been doing lawn care, I've been wearing these and still able to do headphone reviews, and most people agree with what I think I'm hearing, so I guess I'm still doing all right. I guess if I reach the point that no one agrees with me anymore, I guess it'd be time to hang it up and accept my hearing isn't very good. But so far, I'm doing all right. I'm enjoying this, so hopefully I can protect my ears, and hopefully I can keep the tinnitus under control and keep doing reviews for a while. So having tinnitus, unless it's an all the time issue and it's severe, it shouldn't keep you from enjoying your music. I mean, you might have to work around it. If there's times that it's bad, yeah, you're probably not going to be able to enjoy your music the way you'd like to. But I know back in February when I told you it was real bad for me for a couple of weeks, what I had to do is anytime that it wasn't really bothering me, I had to jump on that opportunity and do some listening. And that meant if I woke up at 4 in the morning because I had to pee and I noticed my ears weren't ringing, I'd go put my headphones on and do some listening, And another thing, listening for too long, and especially at too loud of volumes, that can trigger it also. So you want to be careful about your volume levels, and maybe hold your listening down to an hour at a time. take your headphones off for a little while, give your ears a break, and if they start ringing, maybe it's time to just hang up the headphones and wait for another day. So unless it's 24 hours a day, unless it's severe, you can probably work around it. Still be an audiophile, still be a reviewer even. Like I said, you just gotta, if you're gonna have times that it probably isn't. I have times it's not ringing at all, and I try to take advantage of that, and that's my times that I do my critical listening and try to get my reviews done and take notes while I can and all that. And then other times it's ringing just a little bit, and to be honest, you do kind of get used to it, and you can kind of learn to ignore it. I mean, you can just kind of tune it out if it's not too bad. If it's just a faint ringing or a hissing sound, you can learn to kind of tune it out and ignore it and still, enjoy your music. So it doesn't mean your life as an audiophile or, just even not that serious. Just, you just listen for the fun. Doesn't mean your life's over and you have to give up music. You can probably, by taking care of your ears and by not doing things that are going to aggravate the tinnitus, you can probably work around it and still get quite a bit of enjoyable listening in. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Once again, this is William from the Headphone Experience. If this video has helped you, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you're all welcome to join us at the Headphone Experience on Facebook. Excuse me. We're up to about, I think, 13,250 members, and still growing. Every day we had about probably 10 or 15 members. So I'd like to see you all over there. And once again, thanks for watching my video.